All right, my friends, welcome to episode 135 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I'm Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and over there is Summerspeak. Nope, over there is Anthony at Summerspeak. Oh my God, what's your name? On Twitter, and he has been working hard this weekend.
I have. It's been a lot of fun. Just getting reacquainted with Unreal and enjoying it every minute of it.
Cool.
Love that engine.
And it's UE4, right?
UE4.
Yeah. Okay.
No one would. I think they're going to be using UE4 for a long time.
There's no 5 on the horizon. I mean,
no, because we're at UE4 4.19.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done 19 very big updates to UE4.
Right.
And 20 is on the horizon. So, I mean, Epic uses it themselves. I don't think they.
Yeah.
I think they're going to keep this engine going for a while.
Yeah, as long as Fortnite keeps going, man. That's that
juggernaut.
Much. So this episode, we're going to talk about some rumors about the PS5, if those are legit or not, and just kind of bask in the glow of rumors because those are always fun. Again, unfortunately, this week we're going to skip Chrono Trigger because I didn't play a single second because I couldn't hold the DS, unfortunately, and also a lot of family stuff happened this week, but I will be playing next week, so we'll get back to it next weekend. And then we'll talk about games that we're playing. Just put a little spoiler alert here. Anthony, are you playing anything else besides Monster Hunter World?
I did play one other thing.
Oh my God. Okay, we're going to say that for the end. There'll be a surprise game that Anthony's played something else. That's like, 3 months straight of Monster Hunter World.
I'm going to be honest there. I played Monster Hunter World a lot.
Yeah.
But I did fit in time for something else too.
Awesome. Cool. We'll get into all that. We're going to start, though, with PS5 rumors. And kind of started with Jason Schreier had an article on Kotaku basically running down some of the rumors and just saying this is not going to happen for a while. But what did you find? What did you read?
I mean, I originally read the thread on Reset Era where someone was that showed that stuff and was like, behind the paywall, here's this basically they were talking about a GDC, PS5 Dev Kits are going out, it will be out in 2018, bullshit. But that kind of got the rumor mill just swirling. Like, because people are now wondering, like, oh, is a PS5 really that far away? Like, is it close? And so it got me thinking on digging into a little bit more. Mark Cerny, who was the architect for the PS4,
right? He's
still the architect for their hardware. He is starting to do his tour of developers, where he did this with the PS4 before they completely set on specs. He went and talked to the actual teams making the games and would ask them, what do you want in the PS4?
Right.
He's doing that now for what do you want in our next console. So
that means it's got to be a couple years out then, right?
I think minimum from this point, like they might have some high level specs, roughly of like, oh, we want it to be here on a GPU, here on CPU, this type of RAM. But really, when he's talking to developers, especially on the PS4, he was asking, do you want a faster processor, GPU, or more RAM? Like, where do you want us to put our money?
Right.
And so they probably have baseline specs, and they're going to these developers saying, tell us what would be the biggest benefit for you. And we will tweak our specs from there. But still, these are specs. These are not dev kits. This isn't actual hardware. Like, because some of the rumors talking about hardware that really honestly just isn't commercially available yet. Like, I was watching and reading a thing on, I can't think of it. It's the people that do all the frame rate stuff. System comparison. Digital Foundry.
Yeah, Digital Foundry, yep.
They did a whole thing on this, and they started digging into like, okay, what could the potential CPUs be and GPUs and RAM and things like that. And they do still think it's likely still going to be AMD all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be Ryzen. But they really think it's going to be this new Navi GPU that hasn't even been slated for release for desktop. Like, it exists somewhere in AMD. It's just hasn't been dated for even desktop stuff. And as I said, the PS4 Pro had some features and stuff from AMD GPU technology that hadn't come to the desktop yet. It beat it by a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you knew it was there.
Right.
Navi, they haven't even talked seriously about it yet, publicly. So even that, you start looking, you're like, okay, So 2018 is just off the table completely. Right. Like, well, that's not how this works.
No, and even if that stuff did all make sense on the technological front, like they're just so far ahead, and the PS4 is still selling so much that wouldn't make sense anyways.
No. So I went back and was like, really looking at like, all right, what is the console side? What does PlayStation look like console wise? So PS1 was in December of 94 and September of 95, Japan and North America, respectively. PS2 was it was October 2000 for North America. It was a few months earlier in Japan. So you had about 5 years between PS1 and PS2. Then you have 2000 to 2006 for PS3, PS2 to PS3, so 6-year cycle. But PS4 was 7 years after the PS3 debut.
And that was partially because of the financial crisis and just the fact that people didn't have money to spend on new consoles, right? That kind of got pushed out a bit.
It did, but it also didn't. They always said with the PS3 they were making a console that could last longer.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it had a Blu-ray drive. It's why it was so expensive up front.
Right. They're future-proofing a bit.
They future-proof. They even said, they're like, this will last longer than a normal cycle. And they did. They pushed it an extra year.
Mm-hmm.
But my thought is, I think they're let's get rid of the thinking of the Pro right now, because that's its own thing. But I would say 7 years. I think 2020 is probably when you'll see a PS5.
Right.
I think 2019 is when they announce, and then it will be about a year after that. Because they also have to give devs time to make games for it.
Right, and like you said, if Sony's going out there and doing their due diligence, that's going to take a while to kind of filter all those comments out and figure out what to do. And just the market, how it is right now, there's just seems like there's no reason to do that. Because even on the baseline PS4, like the upcoming game, God of War, from all accounts, it's beautiful on the Pro, but still really gorgeous on the regular PS4.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
and the Digital Foundry guys were pretty sure that the reason, one, they figure everyone thinks going to be using this AMD architecture, so it stays completely back compat with PS4. So you're saying basically when the PS5 comes out that you can play all your discs, all your digital content.
Yep. That's when I was reading these rumors, I was thinking like where I'm at in my life right now and how much I play right now. Like I'm fine with a PS4. I don't need a PS5. And then I thinking about if they did the back compat right from the gate, that would be a lot bigger incentive for me to say, well, I'll have all the same games and then just on a better system. Like I would be more likely to make the jump if that were true.
And it works better. Like this is one of the first times they can do that because the architectures of the the PS2 was back compat because they actually took the PS1 GPU and soldered it onto the board of a PS2.
Like as it was secondary GPU.
Yeah, it was cheap enough that they could just be like, when you put a regular PlayStation 1 game into PS2, it just ran it through a PlayStation 1 built onto the board.
Huh.
Like that's how they got back compatibility.
Right.
When they did the PS2 to PS3, though, the architectures were so different. And the original PS3s did the same thing. There was a few, like one generation of PS3, the big fatty PS3s, originally that did the same thing. They had a PS2 CPU soldered onto the motherboard. Did the same thing. It was hardware straight. It wasn't emulation. You were just playing a PS2 game.
Right.
But they stopped doing that on the PS3 Slims and moving forward. But the architecture was so different from PS3 to PS4
that there's just no way of doing that.
Yeah, and there's no way to really cheaply put a PS3 hardware onto a PS4. Like emulation is the cheaper route at that point.
Right.
And if you've seen with remasters.
Well, and
they've kind of unified on this like a PS4 and an Xbox One are just PCs for the most part. They're using modified hardware, but hardware you could find in any desktop PC. So if they do that for the PS5, there's no reason that the games on a PS4 can't run on a PS5. Like
that just seems like such a smarter option because I don't know. This generation gave people who were 360 gamers a chance to take the leap to do PS4. I feel like a lot of people jumped from 360 to PS4 because of the price or whatever of the Xbox One. So I don't think I think Sony wants to make it as easy as possible to go from 4 to 5, as opposed to give people a reason to think, well, I can't bring my stuff over anyway, so maybe I'll try the other console or something like that.
And this is where I'll say that they've already kind of got people thinking that way with the PS4 Pro.
Oh, that's a good point, because I updated to the Pro and brought everything with me, except for PT.
That's too bad, but that was extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just leave that there. I played it 2 times; it was enough.
Yeah, but there you go. Like, I feel like, did Sony make the quote that they were done with hardware cycles?
I thought that was Xbox.
Generation. It might have been Xbox.
I thought that was Xbox.
But in some ways, I think that is, if you take it in the meaning that you will see like a PS5 or an Xbox One, 2, whatever.
Good name.
If the next ones are coming out and they're just souped up versions, or new, not even souped up, because the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X are more just souped up versions, but like, it's like if you just replaced your entire motherboard and GPU. But you can still play all your games again.
Right.
So I think that with the way that this generation is playing out, I would not be surprised if that's what the PS5 is. Guess what? It is all new internals, but it's running the same architecture basically. So yeah, just play your games. They run faster, or they can run at true 4K or 60 FPS, HDR, whatever fancy stuff you want at that point in time.
Yeah, whatever they can do to reduce the friction between the generations, basically, so people just stay.
And then you're like, okay, 7 years, I buy a new console. That's about right. It's a good upgrade time. Right. And then if they continue to do these Pro ones, let's say you have the Pro, you skip the 5 and you get the 5 Pro at roughly that 7-year cycle.
Right. Yeah, I guess the question would be, new games that they develop specifically for the PS5, would they be able to be
They
run?
probably wouldn't be back compat.
Right. So that's because stuff they're making now for the Pro, obviously you can play on the regular, but then that would be the clear break between the generations, I guess.
Yeah, they would just say, no, these are PS5 games. There is no way they run on the earlier hardware.
Right.
In any form that we want them to be run.
I guess, like, what's the next step then? Is it like a locked 60 frames per second? Is it instead
there
of
will always be
checkerboarding?
higher, no checkerboarding. It will be true 4K.
Right. Okay.
Like that's the big thing, and I think that some games will be 30 FPS, some will be 60. Like, they'll make the choice, because the 30 to 60 thing is mostly a choice of visual quality.
Yeah.
Overall, like, if we do 30 FPS, we can hold it solid at 30 and make a better looking game. But some games benefit more from 60, but we'll do trade-offs in our lighting and shadows and post-processing effects. Just small things that make it not look as good.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that new God of War is only 30.
From what I read, it's 30. Still gorgeous, but I'm not. Maybe on the Pro, there's an option to do something different. A lot of the Pro games basically say, do you want to favor resolution or favor frame rate? And I'm hoping that continues to be an option with the PS5, so that people who want the 60 frames per second on every single game could have it, and those who want better looking resolution could do that.
It'd be a good option.
I mean, a lot of them have it on Pro, so I think even like Monster Hunter World has it on Pro.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do. You want to talk about a game tempting me to get a Pro? It's been that game.
Even after you're already 150 hours in?
I know. I sit there and I'm like, this would run so much better on a Pro.
I think once you get to God of War,
there are times you get frame drops. So.
Oh, okay. And are they crucial frame drops, or
no? I'm
just
okay
annoying?
with it.
Yeah.
But it is kind of annoying sometimes. You can just tell, like, whenever it's chugging.
I just
God
keep hearing.
of War looks incredible.
Yeah, obviously it was Horizon last year. People were talking about how gorgeous it looked, and that's right after I got my 4K TV, and it was just like, it looked amazing, even though game didn't really click with me. But God of War, people were just talking about how it's just gorgeous on both, but just stunning on the Pro and the 4K. So I'm still there's a couple more days. I could pre-order it from Amazon and get the discount. I'm thinking maybe, and I'm like, no. I'm like, well, Trump might blow up the whole world in like a month, and maybe I want to play it before that happens. Like these are fucking thoughts going through my head, man.
Just actually, you don't. No, there are no basements in San Diego. So
what's a basement? No,
exactly.
The things that are
which is weird to me than the fact that in Washington and Seattle, so many houses have basement. It rains all the freaking time,
right?
And like so your basements can leak. And I'm like, why wouldn't San Diego have basements? Like the chance of anything leaking there is almost nothing.
Right.
How many days of rain do you get a year?
We get not very many, unfortunately. But what's happening is I guess it's the convention center, and a couple places around the convention center are close to, the coast, obviously the water. So that is what's flooding the parking garages below, the subterranean parking garages. So it's not rain here so much as just the ocean coming.
Yeah, don't. Okay, I get it. Basement's not near the ocean. Cool.
Yeah, but we should have one here. There's no reason not to. Yeah. But no basements. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it'd be cool.
It's always been a mystery to me.
That'd be my man cave for sure.
Oh, I love my basement.
Yeah.
So back from basements to here. So I do think most of these rumors are complete bullshit from a date standpoint. I think some of them are true on what could be in the system potentially, and that's just extrapolating out roadmaps from AMD for the most part. Like, they've at least publicly put up, hey, this is the architectures we're working on. You can be like, well, if Sony was looking at a console, they'd probably choose this architecture. And these are the type of RAM that's available now and will be available in a couple of years. So they'll probably choose that. It's a lot of conjecture and assumptions being made, which is great for fun and theorizing, but it's not reality.
Well, and if you think about where we are on the calendar, April is the time to theorize and have fun because E3 is just 2 months away. So I just feel like people are like going through the motions of what if.
Guess what? Yeah, guess what? Sony is not announcing a new console at E3.
Not at all.
Like I said, next year E3 potentially.
Yeah. That would make sense to have it next, or even wait till PSX maybe. I don't know. There's not.
And this is the thing, though. I'm like, it's either the earliest I see a PS5 is, Q4 2020, but it could easily be Q4 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Either of those would not shock me.
Well, I feel like
because it takes a while to build games. They want to launch strong,
right?
A strong launch lineup, and it takes a while to build, not even just design the tech, have the tech at a point where you can mass produce it, and that's not really on Sony. That's on the people that they're getting the parts from,
right?
Well,
especially if you think about the memory shortage and all that stuff, there are real constraints for building things quickly.
And millions of consoles. Everyone's gonna be fighting for that hardware,
right?
So
I also think that the Pro has bought them a year, maybe 2 of time. If there was no Pro, I think that we might be looking at a 19. But yeah, I think 2021 or 21 makes sense because the Pro has given them a little bit more room. And I'm sure I would like to see the breakdown between how many people have Pros and how many people have regulars. And it's hard to know because they would count me as having a regular and a Pro, even though I traded my regular in to get a Pro. So
yeah.
But I wonder how many Pros were sold. I'm sure I can find that somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure you could find some loose numbers around it. I would think the MPD, if you actually had a subscription to MPD or someone someone that did, it probably would give a more detailed breakdown. Yeah. But we don't, so
I'll just guess.
And it's super expensive, so not going to deal with that.
Right. So are you? I guess I think I know the answer to this. But are you at some point going to get a Pro?
I don't know. I'm tempted, but there's other things I want to put my money towards.
Yeah. And
my PS4 is working fine.
Right.
If it died again, I would probably get a Pro.
Yeah.
But it's knock on wood holding out just fine. Does everything I need it to do. Some frame rate increase. I don't have a 4K TV. I'm not going to be investing in a 4K TV anytime soon.
Right. So there's maybe not a lot of reason. It has boost mode or whatever, but that's probably not enough.
No, not really.
Well, if your PS4 can churn out 150 hours for Persona 5 and 150 hours for Hunter World, you're probably fine.
I'm probably okay.
Yeah.
let's figure out how many hours I put in Diablo 3 as well.
Oh yeah, Jesus! Wait till it comes out on Switch, man. That's
oh no,
no. See, I bought it on PC when it launched, sold it when I sold my PC, then bought it for PS4, and then I just rebought it for PC, my new PC, and now I'm gonna buy it again for Switch when it comes out this year. Like,
yep,
I'm probably gonna buy that game more than any other game.
Yeah, they'll get my money for Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. That just playing that on the go, on the couch, whatever, anywhere. Oh, sounds good. Next, we'll be doing Chrono Trigger. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, I did not get to play it at all this week, so we're going to blow past that. Did you play any more this week?
No. Okay. I was waiting for you to tell me you've passed me for the most part, because I don't want to, because I'm pretty sure if once I dig into this next part, I don't want to get too far ahead of you.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll let you know when I get to where you are this week. I'm feeling a lot better. Probably like 80-90% of normal, and I can use my hand like normal. So
hey, you did get your Monster Hunter Ken outfit,
dude, and that was excruciating. Like that hurt like hell. And it took me 4 fights. I had to restart it 4 times, but I finally did it. So the way that it works, and it's one of the only games I played this week, Street Fighter V. I needed to get the last. So once a week for a month, you fight Ken, who's in Rathalos armor. And my main is Ken, so I was playing Ken against Ken. Then the first week is like super easy, and the second one a little harder, third one a bit harder, and the fourth one a bit harder than that. So you pay $2,500 in fight money to have the fight, and I had like 100,000, so I could retry probably pretty much as many times as I wanted to. First one didn't restart, second one didn't restart, third one restarted like 2 or 3 times. Then this last one I restarted, I think it was like 5 times. I got him on the 5th time. And at that point, my left hand was just like on fire. I was like, I'm going to have to do what Anthony said and have my wife do this for me. But it probably wouldn't have worked. So I had 1 day left, and I logged in, and I was like, I got to do this tonight. It's like, I don't care how much it hurts, I got to do it. Because I had 3 of 4. I wanted to get the last one. So it worked out, and now when I use Ken, I can select Rathalos armor, which I don't care about Monster Hunter World very much, or Monster Hunter, but that armor looks pretty, or that costume looks pretty damn rad.
It does. I mean, and we talk about Capcom mixing things. I sent my picture today of my Mega Man Palico.
That looks so weird, like the pixelated
it's so
3D Mega Man.
Super weird. It's all pixel, and it has its blaster, and whenever you're fighting it, just shoots its blaster at the monster.
Is it like 3 pellets at a time? Bum, bum, bum.
I have to pay attention. I have to pay attention more. There's attention to detail because so to get it, you had to go. There's a specific event quest that started last week, into last week. I think Thursday or Friday. And when you start it, it plays like the Mega Man level start music.
Oh yeah.
And it does the Mega Man like battle music while you're fighting the monster.
Dude.
It is like attention to detail. You're like, wow, guys, you didn't have to go that far.
That's pretty rad.
Wait, they did. Then they just announced Dante from Devil May Cry that his costume and weapon will be coming out at the end of this month.
And that's for your player character, like Aloy was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Except his is different. Whenever Aloy's, you have to buy buy it as the entire set of armor, and when you equip one piece, you have to equip all pieces of it to make you look like Aloy.
Right.
The Dante set is each individual piece, so you can choose to put on like the chest piece with the cloak if you want, and not wear any other piece. Like you only look like Dante if you put it all on.
Right.
But you can mix and match with it. So it's the first one that they've done that, and their weapons always map to something else. Like through the Spring Quest, I didn't have Aloy's bow, so I went and was able to do the event a couple more times for Aloy stuff, and I made her bow as well.
So do you find yourself as a completionist here and wanting all of the sets, even though I don't know how attached you are to Devil May Cry, for example? But
I kind of, it looks cool. That's probably the only reason why.
Yeah.
And it's limited, so why not try to pick it up while it's there? It's free.
Gives you something else to grind toward. Yeah.
Yeah, and the amount of events they do in this game has just been ridiculous. The Spring Quest has had daily rotating events and quests and bringing back all this other stuff, and then this halfway through it doing the Mega Man, introducing the Mega Man Palico stuff. Yeah, Capcom is all in on this game. All in.
So what's next after Dante? Is it like I think I mentioned you earlier, Chris Redfield from Resident Evil, or
I assume that there will be a Resident Evil thing at some point, but because why not? I think they try to time it around other games coming out potentially, so I don't know if there's another Resident Evil thing in the pipeline anywhere.
Probably not this year.
I know that there's a sometime in the nearest future. So in the game, you have your character, the hunter, you have your palico, and then you have like a major NPC, your handler, who you go to for quests and everything. They're kind of like your support. And I know that sometime really soon they're introducing a Chun-Li costume for her.
Okay.
So, I mean...
That makes sense, like, to go through the roster of that game. Like, they've got, I think, Ken and Ryu in that game, or just Ryu right now? Just
Ryu. Okay. I have to do that event, like, 4 more times so I can get Ryu now. Because I didn't own the game when that event was in. Because it was only, like, the very beginning of when it first launched.
Right.
So I think I need to do that 4 more times by the end of the week. And then I can look like Ryu. And then you actually get into like, the cosmetic stuff that you can buy for money. A Hadouken is one of them. Gesture to do a Hadouken that does damage. It's a gesture that will do damage to monsters.
Can you do that gesture as not Ryu?
I don't know. I think you can potentially. Yeah. I don't know though.
I guess they want you to buy it if you don't have the armor. I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a game. I've said it before. It is essentially an MMO.
Yeah.
Just without a subscription fee. Like, it just has the upfront cost, and then you now have an MMO. So, enjoy. And if it has your hooks in you, it's an MMO, and it's really bad.
Well, I like the idea that you can do it in, like, 30-minute bursts. Like, when that quest is over, you're like, it's time or whatever. 50 or whatever you said. 30 or 50.
50 is the max. Like, the ones that, like, going back for the Aloy thing, I was doing that quest in, like, 6 minutes now.
Oh, okay.
Some like the Pac-Man, not Pac-Man, the Mega Man thing. I had to do that 5 times, and I think I was doing it in about 10 to 12 minutes tops each time.
Right.
Because I guess it would be harder if I was less geared, but I'm geared up pretty well, so I can dish out decent amount of damage.
Well, I feel like most people would be geared up pretty well at this point.
Yeah, I mean. That shouldn't be an issue anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, it doesn't usually take that long. The longest things I tend to do now take about 20 to 30 minutes.
Nice.
So, nice, simple. Can grind out a few in an hour, basically.
And you're probably going to crest 200 hours on this game. You're gonna keep playing it for the
bet so. I bet
future.
I'm at about 160 now.
Yeah.
I was 154 middle of the week, and I know I've put in more since then. So.
Well, before we get to your next game, I want to delay the surprise a little bit longer. I actually played Starcraft II this week.
You did? I heard.
Yeah, my friend Brad has been asking me about playing that game for a while. Finally, I was like, let's do it. And we're trying to set up like weekly play dates, basically, on Thursday nights. He mistakenly was under the impression that I had played a lot of the Starcraft II campaign and knew what the hell I was doing. And I disabused him of that notion pretty quickly. I said, "Oh no, I've only played the first part of like the first level of the first campaign, or of the what is it,
Terran.
Wings of Liberty or whatever."
Yeah, Terran campaign.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "Oh, that's just where you learn how to use a Marine." I was like, "Yeah," because when we were doing we did multiplayer, we did the Archon mode where you're like on the same team against the enemy.
Yeah.
So it was like all these buildings you got to build, and each building has like a certain thing it does, or you can build other units, and there's a ton to manage. And it was just like the first 10 minutes I was there just looking at everything and reading everything and just being like, what the fuck do I do? and as we played like a 40 or 50 minute match, and as the match went on, I started to learn how to do it, and looking back on how I was acting at the beginning, realizing I was just doing some stupid stuff, but I just can't imagine what it was like for him watching me and him slowly realize, oh, he was serious when he said that he didn't know what the hell he was doing. But as we played more, I started to realize why people like it so much. Like, it's just so tactical, and so you're like laying plans out way early on. Like, I imagine like Civ 6 or Civ 5 or something like this, where you lay stuff out ahead of time. Like, you set your plan in motion, and maybe like 20 minutes later you realize, yeah, that was a good idea, or shit, that was a terrible idea, and at that point you're locked in, right?
Yep.
And I enjoyed that part of the experience, and that was fun.
I haven't played StarCraft or StarCraft II in this case in a very long time.
It's a lot, and I enjoyed it enough that I wanted to go back to the campaign and start playing more of it, so I can become more proficient. But it was a comedy of errors for me. I was just like, at one point, Brad had created a nuclear weapon, I think, and at that exact moment, I finally understood like how to like corral my entire army and go attack someone. So I corralled the entire army, brought them down screen a little bit to attack this base of the enemy. And Brad was like, you want to pull them back from there right now? And I pull them back, and then that's where he was dropping the bomb. So as he had set the bomb to go, I brought our entire army right into the path of destruction, basically. That was pretty funny.
Well, you moved it out before it came down. That's
I did.
Good.
No one died. It was
that was good communication going on.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it was fun, and I really enjoyed the just how easy it is to do voice chat on the Blizzard app or whatever. You just make a party pretty quickly.
Yeah, they've been great at that overall. It's like they've had years of working through this whole issue and process. But speaking of Battle.net, the other game I played, Hearthstone.
Oh yeah, Hearthstone.
Got my free packs of Witchwood, right?
Yep, Witchwood.
And then played some, just trying out some of the new cards I got and just fiddling around in super low rank stuff because I'm terrible and I don't have many cards. So, but it's fun. That game is really good.
Yeah, excuse me. There's a motorcycle going on in the background here. I was trying to mute it, but my neighbor likes to run his motorcycle because he's really cool. I still opening packs. I had like 75 packs or whatever. Everyone got the 3 free ones, and I had bought the expansion early or whatever, and got the bonus packs and free packs and whatever else. But I like the design, like the kind of the foresty kind of, I don't know, occult stuff going on. Unfortunately, on my iPad Pro, for some reason, I can't play anyone online. Every time I try to connect with anyone online, it just spins its wheels and never actually connects to anyone. I'm not sure what's going on.
That's really weird.
Yeah, because I thought it was like a Wi-Fi issue, but I can play on my computer just fine. So on my iPad, I just play the single-player content, which means I can't really play any of those new cards or whatever.
That's really strange, actually.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's other reports of that online at all.
I looked, and a lot of the reports were from a couple of years ago, so I couldn't find anything recent. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, it is really weird. Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah, I want to play against people because I want to use some of those new cards, But
yeah.
Oh well. I'm
Did
sure
you
it'll
open
get
your
fixed
50
eventually.
packs?
Yeah, I'm still, I still got to open some of those. One thing I did find, someone said that something that helped them was to just delete the whole app and then re-download it. So I did that, and I haven't actually got back to play it yet. So that might have fixed it, for all I know.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's the typical how to fix an iOS app. Delete it, reinstall.
That's so weird. But
there's no other way to mess with stuff.
Yes.
Like you just try to blow away your settings, and that's how you blow them all away.
Right. Well, someone was saying like when they kept adding like new patches to it, it kept breaking it. So I'll see when I go back in the house, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the card design overall. Like watching some of the launch videos of it and everything. There's just so much enthusiasm in that game. Like the people making it just absolutely love that game, and it shows.
Oh yeah, it's just having so much fun with it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absurd in so many ways, but they push the art and the design, like visual design, so far and do such little nice things everywhere. Like the polish is ridiculous. And it's why I'm like, yep, this is why this is the #1 digital card game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not true. I did play one other thing at the very beginning of the week, Magic the Gathering Arena.
Is that
which
new?
I'm in their beta. That is their new online. Think of it, Magic Hearthstone. It is the Magic rules, but it's all in 3D and looks a lot nicer than Magic the Gathering Online. But you can't trade cards. It uses a similar kind of... It doesn't use dust, but a similar type of thing where you can win extra cards, build cards that you want.
Right.
But man, does Magic does not translate nearly as well to a digital product.
Yeah.
God, there's so much downtime in that game.
Right.
You're just like, yep, played a card. Now I got to wait for them to say they don't want to do anything. Cool, next. It's really, like, they've done a lot to try to smooth that, but it's still really slow in comparison to Hearthstone. So which is always going to be an issue. So
yeah, the nice thing about Hearthstone is you can jump in and jump out pretty darn quickly.
You can jump in and jump out pretty quick. You can play your cards as fast as you want. You can do everything you want. Like, there's no sitting around waiting for the most part.
Right.
Like, because there's no reactions. People can't react to you playing a card. That's just not how that game works.
Right. The only thing is the secrets, as
exactly. You have to you pre-plan those.
Right, and those pop out instantly once they are triggered.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, playing some of the MTG Arena beta just made me go like, this is good. It's a really good version of Magic the Gathering to play digitally, and has the depth of Magic because it is Magic, but it translates to a much slower play experience. So
it's something that if you're into the Magic ecosystem, it's something that would be pretty fun to play for the digital version. But trying to peel people off of Hearthstone, maybe that's not going to work.
All I can think of is it's meant for people that maybe are falling off of Hearthstone already.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want the next thing,
right?
And there's Hearthstone's player base is large enough that that probably is a market. I mean, that was what a lot of like MMOs were doing when World of Warcraft was so huge. Like even whenever you had 11 million players, there was a good chunk that were churning off WoW every month, and you could grab them to go into a different MMO.
Right.
Like that was totally a market that was viable. And I feel like MTG Arena is trying to be that for Hearthstone. Like, yeah, you got tired of Hearthstone, you want something a little deeper, more strategy. Here's Magic. Go. And so there'll be an audience for it, I'm sure, in that regard.
Yeah, I kind of want to check that out when it comes out. I assume it's going to be free to play, and then you just buy packs and whatever else.
Yeah, you buy packs. They do a weird thing, like not a weird thing. Like, so you get a pack, and usually a pack will come with. They didn't explain this well to me, but basically a wild card, and you can get common, uncommon, rare, and I assume ultra rare, mythic wild cards, and you can trade those in for a card of that rarity that you want. And you can bank them as well. So, like on my account, I have like 10 commons, 5 uncommons, a couple rares that I could just be like, I want this rare card to build my deck, and I can just get it. So it's kind of their way of dust for the most part.
And I assume that there's no way to like resell your cards; they're just locked to your account.
Nope, they're locked to your account.
Yeah,
this is not a game about trading, and you can like win a certain number of cards per week just from playing games.
Mm-hmm.
So it isn't as straight up as like Magic in real life where you buy packs and the whole thing.
Right.
But so you can get cards, but you can't. But it does eliminate that ability of the Magic community of trading. You can't trade. You can't give people your cards. You can't say, hey, let's split a box. I want these colors. You want those colors. Like, can't do any of that. So, which is unfortunate, but I understand why. That no one wants to get into. They don't want to get into that reselling market.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's dangerous waters, I would say.
It is dangerous waters. So, and if people want that, they can do Magic Online.
Right. That's cool. Well, I wanted to, is it an open beta? I'd like to check that out eventually.
It's still closed beta, but
okay.
it's the NDA dropped though.
Oh, nice. Hence why you're talking about it.
I can talk about it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, do you have any idea when that's going to come out to open beta or when it's going to launch?
It's sometime this year. It's going to
cool.
launch this year, I'm pretty sure. I bet open beta will be in the summer.
I think I still want Gwent on my iPad.
Have they not done that yet?
Oh my God, have they? I thought they haven't. To be honest,
no, that's the thing. Have they? I
haven't checked.
About by this time they would have done it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to check that out when I get back in the house then, because if they have, that's awesome. I read an article this week about Gwent where they're talking about how they're fixing the things that people wanted them to fix finally.
Oh, good.
And just having it on the iPad makes me want to play it more, because the problem with playing on the PS4 is that I sit far enough away from the screen that half the shit I couldn't read. So it's just like it's not working out.
And honestly, the iPad is probably one of the best interfaces to play any digital card game.
Oh, absolutely. Like playing, I played on my phone for a bit when you were like, oh, you can play on the phone. I was like, yeah, but it's kind of small. But the iPad is just fucking perfect for Hearthstone, man. That is like my
Yeah.
Hearthstone and PDF machine right now.
It's great for comics too.
Oh yeah, actually,
Comics are fantastic on iPads.
Yeah, I opened my Comixology and read the last issue of the Critical Role, the Vox Machina first arc.
Oh, nice.
And it's just beautiful. Like compared to my old tablet, it looks like I'm fucking looking at paper. It looks like I'm looking at paper. It's really nice.
Yeah.
These iPad Pros are fucking worth it, man. They're good.
Nice.
Yeah. So next week we will get on to Chrono Trigger. Sometime soon we'll get into our predictions for E3. That will be fun.
God.
We obviously have our bets for what's going to happen this year, but also we'll do a little bit of E3 shenanigans, and then see if Anthony plays anything else this week besides Monster Hunter World. Keep an eye on that, and hopefully I'll get my hands on a controller.
We'll see if I hold out on God of War or not.
I fucking am in the same boat, man, and I'm just telling myself like I have no fucking time to play games right now. Like, don't buy that game.
So good, and it's not short.
It's not short. And
They're like, it's like 25 hours. And I'm like, wow, that's for how that game looks. That's an insane amount of time to play a story.
I'm right now. I'm weighing like, obviously I wanted to wait till Black Friday to buy a bunch of games, and I've been doing a pretty good job this year. I'm wondering, will the discount on God of War during that time period be more than 20%?
I think it will match 20%. I bet you'll get 20%.
I think it'll match it too, because if it matches it, like it's going to be a Game of the Year candidate, whatever else. If it's just going to match it, I might as well just get it now because it's going to be the same price. And that's what I keep telling myself. And I'm just like, I don't have time to play it, but I would make time. It looks fucking stunning. It looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who only played half of God of War 3, so.
I've played them all, and this one definitely looks to take the series in the right direction.
Yeah.
They're abandoning a ton of the old stuff for the most part, jettisoning that, re-envisioning the game, and Kratos as a character for a new type of story for him.
Yeah.
Which is impressive. It's really impressive to think that they're going to do such a harsh transition from God of War 3 to this.
Yeah. Well, we're on the game of God of War watch. We'll see next week where we are at, if we had purchased the game or not. Right now,
That's true.
For me, it's 50-50. I'm on the edge.
Honestly, my wife will probably say, no, don't spend the money on that.
Yeah.
That would be the easiest way for me to be like, you're right. I'm going to go buy these other things instead.
Yeah.
So I bought a router. So that was some budget.
Are you using it right now?
Oh yeah.
Is it much better?
Awesome. I get full signal everywhere throughout my house. It was the perfect choice.
Awesome. Well, once I realized that the 5G, for some reason my computer was on the 2G when I was out here, or the 2.4 before. Now that I've made sure it stays on the 5G when I'm out in the garage here, there's been absolutely zero problems. I think. Yeah. Have I broken up for you?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So we're both feeling some good Wi-Fi right now then.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, that has been episode 130. Was it 5? 4?
105.
Thanks. Episode 135 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am at Prof Plays Games. He is at SummerSpeak on Twitter. Again, if you like the show, please review. Again, all you Spotify fans, thank you so much. We're glad you guys are listening to us while you're playing your games, and hopefully you're listening to us while you play God of War. Hit us up on Twitter and tell us how good it is, and tell us we should probably get it.
Yeah, or don't. I don't need the extra temptation.
Okay, just tempt me then. I keep reading all those
just
reviews.
tempt Prof Plays Games.
Yeah, exactly. Well, until next week, we'll see you.
All right. Later, everyone.